to our either first or second episode of the new podcast. We have here the 22 times national Romanian champion in ballroom dance and currently ranked first in the world. But on top of that, he's my childhood best friend, and we've known each other for maybe 26 years, 25 years.
Yeah,
welcome, Rares Cojoc, to the show.
So,
welcome. Welcome. I gave the intro.
Let me
reintroduce myself.
Let me reintroduce Alex.
There we go.
So Alex is also my best friend buddy, like since we were like super young kids. He's also an ex-dancer. He actually danced with my sister. And you are also like vice Romanian champion in Juniors 1 in ballroom. No, that's wrong. You were champion.
I was champion in 12-13.
Yes. He was champion in 12-13 in ballroom and vice champion in Latin.
There we go.
In Juniors 1. So he was like the rising star of Romania, actually.
So.
And back in those days, where was I? Like,
oh my God, I was
a little bit more like.
Yeah. But this is, and I think it's something we can talk about today, is the different paths, right? We were kind of in the same age group and the same general level of education, and two paths that you can take, and
then somehow our path brought us back together. Yes, so I think like our childhood passion brought us back together.
Yeah.
Could I say that? Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, so first of all, maybe just for anyone who doesn't know your whole background, if you can just share a little bit of why you started dance, what kind of led you from your normal life into dance, why you stayed in dance, because I know that's kind of an interesting story, and just a quick recap of what the past 20 plus years of your dancing career have been like.
Oh my God, so that's like a super large question.
Just one question, one episode.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll take about an hour to answer this question. So, of course, I started dancing when I was 8, and in school, actually, just because one of our sports lessons transformed in a dance lesson. So that was basically it, like for the starts. And then actually, I've been selected by that teacher to attend the courses, the classes at his club, let's say. And actually it was totally my decision, so I wasn't brought to dancing by my parents. Like nobody pushed me, nobody brought me to a class to see if either I like it or not, so it was basically my opinion. And I think it was, when you're a kid and somebody just selects you for something, like I think you feel special somehow, like, hey mom, hey dad, I got selected to attend the performance group, or I don't know how to call it, like the advanced whatever, like to get in like professional dancing somehow. Of course it wasn't professional dancing, but to attend those classes at the club, like after the school. So somehow I felt special, I guess, in a way. So actually my parents didn't give me much credit, like they said, okay, let him go, anyway he's a kid, so. But probably he's gonna stop like in a month or two. And somehow I also experienced more or less the same behavior with my older boy, because whenever he starts something, I feel like he's super enthusiastic at the beginning, and then slowly that enthusiasm fades away. So he has to pick up something else and all over again. So I think I had more or less the same type of behavior. So that's why they didn't really give me much credit. I'm going to continue with dancing, especially dancing as a discipline, as well as like ballet. It's something which is more, I don't know, like probably more like for girls, especially at the beginning. I mean, there are so many more girls dancing like in the younger age classes than boys. So yeah. So that's how it all started, and then I don't know, slowly. I mean, just everything got more intense and more often, like practices. Slowly started to practice maybe 3 times a week, not just 2 times a week, and then 4 times a week, and then we got on dancing on a daily basis and started to attend some classes, some camps, some new teachers, let's say, came into our careers. And then finally, when I was 12, so after like 4 years of dancing, I met Catia and Giordano Vanone, who were like also one of the best coaches in the world back in those days too. I mean, they had a great career of creating champions and delivering like very, very high performing athletes during this course. And so I met them when I was 12, and anyway, I had some classes with them in Romania. So it's unbelievable that they got to Romania. Romania was like nothing in dancing, like absolutely no results in any of the age categories. So I got to know them. Then thanks to my parents who like gave me like full support, I got more, let's say, more in their lives somehow. Like I could attend some of their training camps in Italy, and then basically they slowly became my main teachers, and they are still today. Like we are like extraordinarily close to one another. Like we spoke. We speak like, I don't know, multiple times per week. Then we see each other maybe every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. So it was an unbelievable relationship, and I think teachers such as them played an incredible role in my career. Like probably if they wouldn't have let's say discovered me or found me, maybe I wouldn't dance now, because it's a lot about teachers. It's a lot about teachers. Like teachers, just like in school, when you hear a kid like loving like mathematics or loving literature, is mainly because of teachers. Maybe because they have a certain, let's say, inclination towards a discipline, but I think the teacher is super important to get that, to turn that inclination into a career, into a passion, into something that you would ultimately perform well. So yeah, so I think that mainly kept me. And then of course, like once you start to get results, then you get more passionate about the thing.
Results.
I mean, about any sport
Getting
or whatever.
results.
Exactly. Then you wish to get better results. Then of course I had many ups and downs in my career. Like it wasn't smooth at all for me. Maybe because I was kind of a spoiled kid, and I think, I mean, this somehow it was good because I had a very stubborn character. I mean, I think you remember how stubborn I was, but in a way, I was sufficiently stubborn in order to chase my dream until the end. In a way, when you're a kid, you can be stubborn, but you can be stubborn in a bad way too. It's like a knife. You can kill with a knife, or you can cut bread with a knife. So it has like a double function. So I think my stubbornness was a bit in that way. Like I was super stubborn, and maybe very often I was doing just what I wanted to do, and I wouldn't listen to my teachers, to my parents, and so yeah, with many ups and downs. And then I had to change multiple partners until I got to dance with Andreea, with Ada, and finally we became, let's say, the perfect match for one another, and got, let's say, to the pinnacle of our career. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. So we're going to get into a couple different things that came up in this conversation.
All right.
But I want to start, the first one that I think is interesting to discuss is what you mentioned about, having had a really fortunate past, and your family support, and obviously being very fortunate in all aspects of your life. Hey, I'm Alex, your host for Danceport and Life, where we go inside the lives of dancers outside of the dance floor. If you're enjoying this podcast, I want to offer you a 7-day free trial so that you can check out over 50 courses taught by legends of dance, just like the one you're listening to right now. Dancesportlife.com. And now everybody that's met you just recently, or that just found out about who you are since you've grown internationally, and didn't know you since you were an 8-year-old stubborn kid.
Yeah, of course.
They all say that you're so humble and so reserved in that like regards, and you're very helpful to them, and you're there for everyone, and Tell me a little bit about how that's shifted, and has dance played a role in it, or is it just age? What happened that let's say spoiled, stubborn kid became like an adult that like cares about everyone and like gives to everyone, and people see as humble?
It's a tough question again, but I think like sports humbles everyone at a certain point. Like sports has absolutely nothing to do with who you are, where do you come from, if you are there come from a rich family or a poor family. Once you put the number on your back, oh, you are a performer, just like other kids. So if other kids are better than you on that particular day, then you're gonna come second, third, fourth, whatever. So yeah, actually, I mean, competitions in general, we don't speak only about dancing, but competition humbles everyone at a certain point. And I think those moments when you get humbled are actually the best moments, from where you actually learn the most for your career. I could say that if you're like a spoiled kid, a stubborn kid who gets only good results because he has access and he affords more like lessons and everything, and he gets somehow faster, better than other kids, and he gets only good results, then I think he gets at the age of, I don't know, 12, 14, 15, when he just gets fed up of everything, of the whole thing, and then he gives up. So I think, in a way, I think it's good. I mean, I think it's the best thing for a career to have like ups and downs, because, well, you feel like euphoric, and it's great to have those ups when you feel like you conquer the world, yes. But then I think from the downs you learn the most, because you have to introspect more. You have to think more where, at which particular point something got wrong, and then how to switch that and get better again, and what's missing, because like sports people are a very complex package of many features. So yes.
Do you remember your lowest low? Like what competition taught you the biggest lesson, and when you felt the lowest?
I could say like it were periods.
Okay.
It's very cyclical.
Okay. So maybe tell me
it's a bit
lowest
cyclical.
cycle,
I mean, yeah.
And the competition that humbled you the most.
Yeah. So I think I had a partner from whom I split, like we split in 2000 and what was it? 2011, and then I danced with two different girls, and it's just there was not the right chemistry, like there was not the right harmony, there was not the right proportions between me and them. It was nothing wrong with them, just that it was something wrong with the couple, let's say. Like there was not a perfect match. Yeah. In order to perform at the highest level, you need somehow to get that perfect match in some sort of way. So in 2013, actually, so from 2011 to 2013, I actually had to change two different partners. And then in 2013, when I split with my last partner, then I was still looking for another partner, and I thought that, okay, like nothing showed up for me, and I thought, okay, maybe that is it, like I should stop now. I reached like the first, I was in the top 24 couples in the world, I was like multiple times Romanian champion. So I said, okay. So after I split with my last partner, there was a period when I couldn't find another partner, a good partner, like to create a good match with her. And then I decided like to stop. Maybe I thought it's a good moment to stop dancing and maybe pick something else, try to do something different with my life. And I actually quit somehow dancing. I mean, quit everything. Like I donated like my tail suit, my shoes, my practice clothes, like absolutely everything. I didn't want to have anything in my house to relate with dancing. So just I said,
Done.
yeah, done. Chapter done. Let's see what life brings next.
And what did life
So
bring next?
lowest low. No, a lower low, let's say. So yeah, it was a tough period, I must say. Like at the beginning, it was great because all of a sudden I had a lot of time to do anything what I wanted. Like I couldn't do in the past, and like I could. I don't know, I could go in holiday, I could spend time with friends, I could go to some parties whenever I wanted. So it was something very, very unusual to me. But then all of a sudden, like especially when like major competitions took place, I felt very, very, not depressed, but very low emotionally. So then I understood, I think it was German Open in 2014, that I was so much suffering at home that I'm not there on the dance floor competing with other dancers. So that was, I think, the moment when I said, okay, I have to do something to get back in the sport. So I said, well, this time I'm gonna restart everything just for the sake of the dancing. Like, not gonna chase anything like results. So I'm just gonna dance because I understood in these 8 or 9 months, whatever, that dancing is, let's say, my source of inspiration, is something that I love to do, something that gives me a lot, like from an emotional point of view, like it really gives me a lot. So I think I needed somehow that break to understand this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was compulsory, let's say. Like thinking back, like reversing everything, it was, I think, a very, very good thing for me. And then, of course, I mean, I knew Andreea for many years, actually, since she was, I don't know, a kid, an 11, 12 years old girl, something like that. And then I went back in the studio and I asked her, like, hey, would you practice with me just like 3 times a week? I remember we were doing like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, like just for an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that, because I just wanted to dance. I didn't care about competing even. Like I just wanted to dance for the sake of dancing. And then of course everything it came back to me, because once you start practice, then you know the animal inside of you wants to perform, wants to get better, wants to feel judged, to feel, I don't know, competition is something totally different. Like that adrenaline, it's a mix of emotions. So that's how we got back. And of course I came let's say with a certain background of results, of people more or less knew me, I think. Like, yeah. They didn't know her, so at the beginning, as a couple, like, I knew that she was like very talented, because I knew she was a very, very talented girl, but people didn't know that, like, they wouldn't have the chance to meet her before.
Right.
So so I knew that we could create something together, but people didn't give us much credit.
Yeah.
So it was a process. It was a long process, and yeah.
So you took a break, which was your lowest low, and you came back just for the love of dance, which is
Exactly.
amazing. And I think it's
Yes.
probably the driver
Yes.
that kept you dancing
Yeah.
for this long. And it's interesting because, you know, you said before you were top 24, obviously very impressive, big deal, still national champion. But then, you know, top 12, finals, podium, you know, number 2 at German Open. Like, it's getting closer and closer to just being like number 1, right?
Yeah.
How did the dance world and your previous teachers and the judges receive you after having left? Like, was there any animosity of like, you quit, we don't want you back, or like anything like that?
I think, as I told you before, I think not many people gave us like credit. Not many people believed in a comeback. To be super honest, I think I was probably the only one who believed in my comeback. Like,
That's
not
most important.
really, like not my parents, not my, no, probably not even my wife. Like, they said, okay, if you really want to get back in dancing, of course you can. I mean, go do it if this is what makes you happy.
Yeah.
But I don't remember like people like really endorsing me like right from the start. It was the first start, and I remember like I started like to lose to couples that I wouldn't lose before. So
Further humbling you.
yes, so further humbling me, and this was difficult. But then I just kept on reminding me like, hey, you are here for the love of dancing. You're not here necessarily for the results. Like, to be honest, when I restarted everything, I would have never thought that I will ever make the final.
And you're okay with that?
Yeah, because what I told my wife, like she said, because I think it was pretty difficult for her, because
Yeah.
we started like a new life. So after my last partner, we started like a totally new life, and then the things at home started to settle, because before that I was all the time away, all the time traveling, all the time competing, training camps, like the whole thing, just like today. So I think having me home for 8-9 months, it was a huge comfort for her.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean that's the reality. And then I think it was difficult for her also to accept that I will start traveling as much as I did before, and actually it got even more intense now. So I think we had a deal. Like, if I don't make it to, what was it? I think we said, like, I told her, like, look, I think I could get into the semifinal. Like, that's my maximum, I guess, because I'm gonna get old, and that's it. And I think we had a deal like 2-3 years. That was like the target. Like, if I don't get in the final in 2-3 years, I should rather stop competing. So I think that was the deal that I had with my wife. And then, of course,
Here we are today, how many years later?
Here we are today, 10 years later. So no, probably I made it to the 24 in the course of those 3 years, and then here we are today. But answering your question, I think it was difficult even for my teachers, like for the main teachers, for our main teachers to believe in a true comeback.
Yeah.
Like, they understood my feelings, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
they understood, like, Rares, of course, it's your passion, your love for dancing. You have to come back. You have to experience the dance floor again, competitions and stuff. But I think they also did not believe that I could make it so far. Yes.
Do you think that played a role in it? Like the fact that, you felt like nobody was believing in you besides you.
Yeah.
And then you also set parameters with your wife and said, hey, if I don't make it to this level in 2-3 years, I'm going to quit. So you were like, I have to prove everyone wrong. And I set a timeline for my family, my marriage, that I have to be good enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is how my mind works.
Okay.
Like, I'm very I think I'm very good at achieving targets.
Yeah.
Like, if I put something in my mind, I know that I can do it, because if someone can do it with 2 hands and 2 legs, I can also do it. So I don't know, maybe it's gonna take me more work, more whatever, but I'm gonna reach it. So I think it was somehow, I have to admit that, because sometimes, even in the relationship with my parents, when I said that, look, I want to start again, so of course they didn't stop me, because they afforded, let's say, to let me continue my career.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a problem for them, like, that I want to restart dancing, and to support me in that aspect. Mm-hmm. Because it was not like, no, we don't afford, like, to keep you in the sport any longer, and you have to pick up a job, or if you want to dance, you have to pay for yourself for all the expenses, because dancing is I believe is a very expensive sport. I mean, I don't know other sports, but I believe is one of the most expensive for the dancer itself.
Yeah.
It's not a team that pays for your expenses. You have to pay for your expenses, basically. So we hadn't had that problem.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same time, I felt like they don't believe that I could reach any certain level. So I think that gave me like a plus of determination.
Yeah. Speaking of, we're going to shift a little bit from dance into the rest of your life. You said that when you put your mind to something, you get it done, and that's how you work.
Yep.
And obviously, maybe people don't know because they just know the dance part of yourself, but you went to college, you got a master's, real estate, and then you developed some buildings. You started a luxury baby clothing line. Now you're partner in another international franchise for clothing. We have Mon Petit Joe and Anan. How do you make time for all of it, and how do you compartmentalize your brain to be the artist and the hard worker and the sportsman, and then also like the business mind that takes care of obviously financing, planning, operations, all that?
Yeah. Because I think the secret is that, I mean, it sounds very easy, but I think this is, let's say, the secret. The secret is you have to start your day early. And I do start my day very early. Like, I think that the 5 a.m. club is not a myth.
Okay.
It's a reality. And I think my alarm is always set at 5 o'clock. And sometimes, of course, I can move it to 5:30. Or I could wake up at 6 on a Sunday. But I usually, my alarm is set for 5 o'clock.
Okay.
So let's say I am in that club, if that's a club, like a real club.
Secret
but
club.
But it's like a 5 a.m. club. I keep reading on that. But and yeah, so basically I started at 5.
Walk us through what happens.
Yeah.
5 o'clock, alarm goes off.
Yeah. So maybe it takes me a bit of time, and then I start my day with stretching and exercising a bit. I think that's very, very important. Absolutely no breakfast because I fast like from 9 o'clock until 1 p.m. So I do that like 16 hours fasting. So I don't have to spend any time in cooking breakfast, preparing anything for that in that regard. So that's good. So I just mainly concentrate in the morning in stretching myself, doing some exercises. That's like a pre-practice program. And then more or less at 6:45, this is more or less how I set my departure time to the studio at 6:45. And usually I wake up, I start practicing, let's say at 7. So that's like a regular routine for me. And then, of course, if you start at 7, you can get everything done until 11 or 12. And I think this is super important because I think the order in which you prioritize your activities in the morning are also related to what's more important to you. So I think for me, the most important thing is dancing right now from a professional point of view. So I guess this is the first thing that I do in the morning. So everything was related to dancing, like exercises, stretching, then the regular practice for let's say 3-4 hours, something like that. And then this is a very, very good time of the day because phone's not ringing, kids are sleeping, so it's basically very, very quiet in the studio. Nobody disturbs you. So I think this is great. Of course, sometimes, no, not sometimes. So that's it for the, let's say, first part of the day. Then, let's say, on a normal daily basis, I would go to the office together with my wife to do some things with the employees, like following like the PNS, cash flow, forecast, whatever, sales, marketing strategies, everything what we speak. And then normally I would spend there like something like 3 hours.
Okay.
That's it. 3 hours, then I pick up my older boy from school. If I have to do something like more in the office, I would come back with him in the office, get things done, and then go somewhere else. But usually I would finish the job until 3 o'clock, pick him up from school, and then the rest of the day I'm mainly focused to spend time with my 3 kids, with my wife, family, and stuff. And normally, the youngest kids not, but my older boy Joachim, he started like activities, some sports, everything. So I'm the driver. I'm the driver who takes him like to karate, to karting, to dancing sometimes, not very often, fortunately. So yeah, so I'm the transporter.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then in the evening, again, spend time with some friends, maybe family. Yeah. So actually, the day is pretty long. Then of course I try to get to bed very early. Like if I get more than 6 hours, it's absolutely perfect. 7 is ideal for me. Like I think I couldn't sleep 8. I believe, like even if I try. So if I get to sleep from 10 to 5, it's absolutely perfect. Especially the sleep that you get before 12 is also so much better for your recovery, for everything.
Nice. Okay, and do you feel like it sounds like you have a good balance between like work, family, obviously your body, all that. I know that religion and spirituality plays a big part of your life. What role has that played in your career as an athlete and in your life as a husband and a father?
I believe that I relate everything basically to God, to be honest with you. Like everything what I do, it's like let it be. This is many times, like I said, like even if or during a competition, I always say like may it be like God's will. Like if I were to win, I'm gonna win. If I were to lose, I'm gonna lose. So it's not something I can actually, of course, I can perform well, but then decisions are not being taken by me.
Right.
So this is I don't know. This is the way I relate. Then I think maybe many people are like skeptical, like why am I so spiritual? But for me, like God is like the wind. You see the trees are moving, but you don't actually see the wind. So
Yeah.
it's the same with God. I believe that I don't know. It plays a super important role. It crafts, let's say, like He crafts our lives, and we just have to give mercy for everything, because we actually, I don't know, I have the feeling like it's everything because of God. So
Right.
I don't believe like I deserve something because of my own efforts. Like even the effort that I put in is because God gave me the right body and the right energy to get things done.
Yeah.
Actually.
That sounds like very peaceful.
Yeah.
To be in that space of like I'm doing my best, but it's like out of my control and it's God's will.
Yeah.
And also I think further humbles you in a sense.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm not better. I'm not, like whatever. It's just my role. This is my life. This is like the gift I've been given, and I'm living that life. That's I think that's maybe like a healthy mental and spiritual place to be as an athlete, especially competing as much as you do and having to like deal with so much. What do you feel like the biggest trade-off has been with you spending this much time on your professional dance career? Like, what did you have to give up in order to be where you are today?
Well, time is a component that you cannot buy back.
Yeah.
I mean, we cannot buy time. Like, we all have like a time lapse, and then it's done. It's finished. So I don't know. You can live 70, 80 years, and I mean the time that you did not spend with your family, with kids, especially in the early stages of their lives, I mean, it's gone. You cannot buy it back. Like $1 million will not get you to see you see your baby taking his or her first steps, or first words or something like that. So yeah, you have to sacrifice. But watching other sports people like very high performing athletes, they all have more or less the same story.
Who are your
just that I think that they are more popular because they are part of sports which are more popular. But I think what you sacrifice and the level of effort, of mental effort that you put in is absolutely the same. I don't think is different. I don't think like Cristiano Ronaldo or like somebody like super famous dedicates more time in football than I dedicate in dancing, or he does something like so much more, like more physical preparation, more whatever. I don't think, of course, I don't know him, but I don't think like, I mean, we have to sacrifice a lot. I'm sure they also sacrifice a lot.
Yeah.
Because, and especially when you have kids, this is a bit, yes, this is why I would call it sacrifice sometimes. But it's also nice because kids, they always like look up to you. So at least when I had my first boy, I said, okay, let me see if I can continue dancing at like the highest level. And then I understood that, yes, I can.
Nice.
Like he's not a boundary in my path. Not at all. Actually, I felt like extra motivated, like I have to prove to somebody else. He's still very upset that at the Europeans I was second, the German Open I was second. The other days he was laughing about me, like, ha, you were just second.
Biggest fan.
Yeah, my biggest fan. So,
love it.
So yeah, so for him that he saw me like, he understood, let's say, what Dad is doing when maybe I was in the final. Yeah. So for him, like not getting the first place, it's not good. It's not good enough.
It's
like
first or last.
Like that, you have to practice more. So I think my idea when I had him, when we had him, my idea is, okay, if I can continue my dancing career, then I would like to dance as much as until the point he would understand what Dad is doing. So at least if I sacrifice the time that I don't spend with him, at least we have, at least he will understand for what I've sacrificed. And I don't know, he can, hopefully, I could become his example. Like if he was to do, I don't know, pick a sport, whatever, like he could say like, Daddy was practicing that much, Daddy was doing that, Daddy was doing, I don't know, all the time leaving, coming back, practicing, stretching, all over again, leaving, coming back. So I think he would get used to that routine a bit earlier because he saw it on me. Yeah. He saw the effects, he saw the results. So I think it's important.
Yeah, for sure. Do you feel like your dad was an inspiration, an example for you as far as like what work meant and like driving and like always doing, you know, the most for the family to be better and all that?
Yes. He is a very he's a guy who dedicates a lot to the family. I think this is important. Like he really, because I saw many parents of many kids. Of course, my friends in dancing, we with dancers that we had the same, like we belong to the same generation, and I saw their parents, and many parents like maybe they have a better financial situations, but maybe I didn't see them getting so much involved. Like my father he was from the beginning very involved in my career. And like he gave me that mental support, not just money, like go take them, do whatever you want. No, like, because I think that's important, of course, but you need to have the parents like besides you. 100%. Mentally, emotionally, like parents are parents, like they're very important for us. Yeah. So I think, yes, I wouldn't say like he was an inspiration for me because we belong to two different worlds. Like he's not a sportsman, never been, never will be.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, I'm a sportsman. So I think we belong to totally different worlds. But I think his role model, his father, inspires me to be a better father as well. So I think.
Wow, I love that. Okay, last two questions.
All right.
10
2
years
more
from
hours.
now. 2 more hours.
2 more hours and we're done.
Brace yourself. 10 years from now, obviously you're fighting right now, last Worlds, 3rd place.
Yeah.
And then German Open, 2nd place. We have the Worlds coming up in October.
Yeah.
You're obviously fighting to reach further and further up.
Yeah.
Where do you think...
Certainly fighting.
Certainly fighting hard.
Then we'll see what we get. Yeah.
God's will.
Yeah.
10 years from now, where do you see yourself? Are you still dancing? Are you teaching? Are you not dancing at all? What's your relationship to dance? And also, how's your family? How's your work life? What's different? You're 45 at this point.
Oh my God, 45.
10 years from now, 45.
Firstly, I hope to be alive in 10 years. I mean, that's like
good.
super, super important.
For sure.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
And then, well, I mean, yeah, I would like to, I think the most, anyway, like, my career will finish. I mean, I'm absolutely sure that in 10 years I'm not going to be among active dancers anymore.
Okay.
I mean, we have to accept that. It's a fact. I mean, we cannot dance forever. I'd like to dance forever, but it's impossible. So probably, like, priorities are going to change. Certainly. To I don't know. So probably I'm going to be very focused in pursuing one of my kids' sports career. This is what I like. Like, I like them to pick up a sport besides being good at school. But I think school is important, but for me it's also important, like, they do something extra besides school.
Yeah.
Like, I think a sport could teach you so much more than school in some regards.
Yeah.
Like life, and it's another chapter. But this is my opinion somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would like to pursue them in their in a career, whatever they pick, like a sport, discipline. It doesn't matter who, or maybe all 3 of them. That would be great, fantastic. But I like that in 10 years' time, they would ultimately choose something that they really love, and I'm gonna be 100% next to them. So 100%, like, even I become like a international teacher or international judge, whatever, I would give up anything in order to be besides them, honestly. So I think that's like the most important thing for me. Like, I love to see my kids performing in a sport. It doesn't have to be dancing, of course. I would personally love not to be dancing. Like, I'd like to apply my experience in a different sport.
Yeah.
A sport, in a more popular sport, in an Olympic sport, or whatever. I mean, whatever.
It doesn't matter.
If they want to dance, they can dance. I mean, I will still be by their sides. But I think this is how I see me. Of course, I'm gonna be together with my wife, growing up our kids. So, like, things more or less like now.
Yeah.
Except from the professional career.
It's almost like your daily schedule, where the first part of your day is dance focused. Mm-hmm. The first part of your life, like, let's say the first 30% or 20% of your life was dedicated to sports, and then you're going to like a whole nother chapter.
Yeah.
If you could, this is the last thing before we let you out and we can go enjoy a wedding together of another dancer friend of ours. If you could leave some words for the Rares that's now 8 or 12 or 14 and just starting his dance or his sports career in general, maybe your kids even, right? Your kids 10 years from now, they found the thing that they're really passionate about. What words would you want to leave with them to kind of keep them going and push to the heights that you have?
I think one of the most important words is patience. Patience and consistency. I think these are super important, super important. I mean, these were like not secrets, because everybody knows what I'm doing, so it's not like a secret plan. But I mean, besides being, I hope, one of the strongest one of the mentally strongest guy on the floor. I think like being patient and being consistent in everything what you do is unbelievably right. Like the way you prepare, it's a process. It's not something that it's not the German Open that has to make you do finals or stamina practice or get your legs stronger or something like that. No, it's a whole process that takes a lot of time, a lot of years, and it simply builds up like brick by brick by brick. So maybe some guys will be ahead of you and then they will get lost on the way, but you just have to build like brick by brick. I think that's like that's important. That's I think the most important for kids, for my kids and for other kids that wish to pick up a sport or wish to perform well in something. So they have to be consistent in their practice. So it's a work. It's not an exam at school that you have to study really hard for a year. No, you have to dedicate a lot of time to practice very hard for maybe tens of years. Maybe for 10, for 20 years, in order to get to a certain goal. So I think that's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Patience and consistency.
Yeah.
I appreciate your patience this weekend, hanging out with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good luck to you in Worlds. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
around. See you
Thank you.
guys.
See you guys.